there are obviously advantages to expansion. So let's just think about that. Making more money, serving more people, whatever that looks like. To me, it's always about money, making more money. If I don't have enough money, I can't service people in the right fashion. You can't pour from an empty vessel. How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim Shorkey. And Jim, a question I've been thinking so much about is, what does it look like to expand your business? There's new opportunities. You're talking about that in a previous episode. There's new opportunities on the horizon. I'm ready to expand. What are the benefits of that? And what are the precautions?
Hopefully there's benefits to it. Otherwise, why expand? So we want to assess what those benefits are. But the one thing we need to be critically aware of is that expanding your business requires more cash. So if you bring on a new person and you pay them $2,000 a month, that's working capital. That's an expense, right? You have to advertise a little more, another $2,000 a month. You have to carry more inventory. That costs money. There's carrying costs. So you may need to buy some new stuff, office equipment, office furniture, all these different things. They cost money. So you have to assess, what is it going to cost you on a monthly basis to expand the business? And you want to make sure that you have the working capital to do that, because these expansions can bankrupt you. They absolutely can. You have to be aware of the cash. Cash is always going to be king. It's really important. So you know how much cash you have in the bank. You assess what your current working capital requirements are, and then you do a working capital projection. It's called a pro forma. And based on the things that you want to do, the best way to do it would be to have an accountant, a CPA get involved, but you can do it yourself. You do what is called a pro forma, which is you do a fake financial statement per se. There's statements, I should say.
Right.
So you have in a business, you have an income statement is one, and you have a balance,
right,
which is two.
So this is a projected scenario of
absolutely.
Yep.
And then based on that projection, how much cash is it going to require now to run this expansion? And if you don't have enough money, it's going to create a lot of pressure, a lot of concerns, a lot of things. So even though there's an opportunity there, it may not be the right timing. You've got to make sure you keep your eye on that cash, and you're doing things to have enough cash on hand so that you can weather the storm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because if you don't, you start to realize kind of what you were saying, which is, hey, I have cash for 6 months or I have cash for a year, but suddenly you go toward this new venture, you expand the business. Okay, now your working capital may be down to 2 or 3 months.
Exactly.
And suddenly it takes you 2 to 3 months to get this up, and you're teetering.
Yeah, slippery slope.
Close,
it's a very slippery slope. So yeah, let me be clear. Let's say that you want to have a 6 month supply of working capital, and that number is $600,000. But with the expansion and the projections, that number goes up by another $50,000 a month. Times 6 will be 300. So that's 900. So before I do the expansion, I want to be at least somewhere between 6 and 9. I want to be aware of what that new requirement is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We experienced this because I was telling you our team has grown from 7 people to 15 people. And I was aware of each step that we needed to make sure we had the right clients in place we could serve, the right revenue in place, the right expense ratio, right? Those things were really important.
Everything goes up. Everything goes up.
Because I had to be aware of those, because if I wasn't, there's a training period for everyone new we bring on. And in what we do, service with websites and marketing and strategy and branding, the training window may actually be long, like 2 to 3 months of training, not 2 weeks.
Which is money out.
Which is time and money out. Yeah.
So think about this. Just slow down and think. Number one, you're paying the trainer. Number two, you're paying the trainees. You can't have them sitting there being trained with not making any money. So you're paying the trainees, and both of those parties are not producing any revenue whatsoever. Right. Now we're projecting, remember the performance. We're projecting they're going to make us money, but they're not making us money today. So you have to allow for that.
Yes.
So you got to make sure that your working capital is aligned with this idea. Yeah. And then, and also, by the way, if you are in fact undercapitalized, the stress is so bad that it makes it harder to do your regular business dealing. So that drops too.
Yeah, it's like your output drops.
I'm a
Yeah.
sales guy. And we know in sales that the number one most important thing we need to have is a great attitude. Well, if you're getting crushed in the financial scenario, your attitude's going to be not so great. Therefore, you're not going to perform as well. And maybe I'm not selling anymore, but I am a leader. I am running sales meetings, and I'm just not in a good mood. God, I don't have enough money. I'm concerned. I didn't sleep good last night. Sleep deprivation is a really big problem. And so with all this stress, big problem. We lose sleep, big problem. We come in grumpy, big problem. We don't make good decisions, big problem. It can get to be really almost impossible.
Yeah, and then I've heard of scenarios where people end up making poor decisions
There's no doubt.
in terms of business, not even just like business implementation, but they'll start to do things that are like not ethical in the sense of they're so desperate that they need something to happen.
They're desperate.
And then it's, man,
Don't expand your business, please. Make sure you have it's simple clinical accounting. Look at your bank account. It's real simple. Add up your expenses for a given month, maybe 3 months. So you then divide that by 3. So you know what it is on a monthly basis. Multiply that number times 6. That's how much cash you need to have on hand. A lot of people told me about how COVID put people out of business. No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
COVID just made you be more aware.
They
Yeah.
were undercapitalized, and people put themselves out of business because they didn't pay attention. Driving around in a Lamborghini and you don't have enough cash in the bank, shame on you. Shame on you. That's awful. Wake up. If you don't have enough cash in the bank, you shouldn't be driving a Lamborghini. Who are you trying to impress? It's a bad idea. Business is the number one most important thing to you. And that Lamborghini is costing you an arm and a leg, and you don't have enough cash already, and then you're going to expand because of multiple streams of income. You bought some book, multiple streams of income. No, make your business that you have right now the best possible business that you can. Sound economic theory is profit maximization. I ask people all the time, why are you in business? And they'll say things like, I want to take care of customers. Okay, give me the real answer. I want to take care of my employees. Give me the real answer. The only reason, there's only one reason you're in business, and let me be very clear about this. I know I'll suffer the slings and arrows. There's only one reason to be in business. That is to make a profit. That's it.
Because if you don't, you won't be in business.
Sound economic theory is, if it is, in fact, to make a profit, it is called profit maximization. This is economics, folks. Profit maximization. People call profits gouging. No, it's business. You have a fiduciary responsibility to in this case, the owners of the business and maybe the stockholders, whatever the case may be. You have to produce a profit. It's not a bad word. Now, how do you produce a profit? By raising your revenue to the best possible level you can, by controlling your expenses to the lowest possible level you can. And the difference, of course, is profit. And those profits at some point will trickle into the bank account. And over time, you develop cash, and cash is king. And so before you expand your business, make sure you have enough cash on hand to run your business for 6 months with no revenue and still be able to survive. That wouldn't be ideal, but that's the idea behind it.
So how did you know you were coming out of the Great Recession? You now had 3 dealerships. How did you know when to buy the other 2? How did you know when to expand?
It's the same story. I saw the opportunity, and I had the money, and I had the people. I had people that we had trained and trained. So it's human capital. I trained the people, my people, not the people, my people, male, female, young, old, didn't matter.
They became like managers of, you open a new store, somebody's got to fill that slot.
Salespeople.
Yep.
So it's the whole thing. Where are the technicians going to come from?
Yeah.
We want to bring people into organization, and it goes back to the 3 goals of the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. Number 1 goal of the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group is to love the customer. And I do mean love the customer. Hug him, kiss him, figuratively speaking, of course, but we want to love on our customers, because if we don't love our customers, they'll leave and we won't have any customers. The second number 1 goal of the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group is to love the team. And hug them, kiss them, figuratively speaking, of course, but we want to love on our team. We want to take care of our team. We want to treat our team real well. We want to train our team, etc. The better we treat our team, the better they're going to love the customer. And if we don't love our team properly, then they'll leave and we won't have anybody to love the customer. And then if the customers, and then if you do number one, love the customer, number two, love the team very well, you get to be really successful. You make a lot of money. You do a lot of great things. And the number one enemy of any successful enterprise, be it a church, a marriage, a business, a relationship, doesn't matter what it is, the number one enemy of any successful enterprise is arrogance. Arrogance scares away people in general. And so if you don't have these three ideas locked in your business, all you're going to do is expand into a disaster. You're going to expand into a disaster. So these three things have to be in place. And if we do the great job with loving our team, then training, we're going to create opportunities, or they're going to, let me rephrase that. They're going to become so good that they're looking for the opportunity. And so if we have somebody that is good and they want to be good and they become good and they want to move up, then wouldn't it be great if we had a place for them to move up to?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So it's cash, what we call working capital, and it's also human capital, and then it's processes. And we teach that in Rethink You 2.0.
Yes.
It's all about the process. And so we get so good at the processes, so good at the cash, and so good at the human capital that, you know what, that business over there, we have this, we have it. We have the cash, the working capital, we have the human capital, and we have the processes. Let's just go put our stuff in there. And we did. And you know what? It didn't work. That's the hard part about starting a new business. It didn't work, but we knew it was right. So we kept doing it, and then it did work. And then we made a pile of money. This is just understand, entrepreneurs, there is a risk to this whole thing. If there wasn't a risk, there wouldn't be a reward. You don't get rewarded on no risk. If no risk means anybody can do it. So there is a risk. And the reason for the working capital being in tune with that is because of the risk.
Yes.
It doesn't always work out the way you thought it would. So you got to be prepared for that and prepared to pivot.
Why didn't it work at the beginning? Just ironing things out?
Well, you've got, who am I? I'm this, just because I walk in the building doesn't mean it's going to all of a sudden
people
be
tell me
great.
all the time, we'll create websites for folks and they'll be like, all right, the website's done, right? I'm like, yes. But that's why we've got really into the strategy, because people think if I turn my website on and say doors open, people will come. And they don't.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah. It takes time. Like, for example, marketing. Marketing is a drip type of a thing. So we drip every day. It doesn't, I put a commercial on the radio on day one. Oh, geez, 1,000 people came in. No, that'd be great. Wouldn't that be great? One commercial, 1,000 people come in. No, it doesn't work that way. It takes time, drip. And getting the processes in place, even though we know they're right, doesn't mean our people are going to do the process. We talk about execution.
Right. Yes.
So we got to keep, with our new team and our new management team, we got to keep running it and managing it. And we got to get the customers in the door, and we got to treat them the right way. And it may take some time to get that established. Also, initially, with a new business, we'll bring our own team in, but we got to hire people too. There you go. You just said it.
Yeah.
Training is downtime. So they're not ready. So we have to train them. And I was talking to two young people the other day. And it was at one of the dealerships. I happened to stop in. And I said, what's the secret to success? And it was a young lady, a young man. They said, to make a friend. I said, no. You make friends all day long. Doesn't mean you're going to sell cars. That's not the secret.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's part of the secret, but that's not the secret.
That's not a bad one. I've heard worse.
But it's not the secret.
Yep.
I'm a nice guy. My customers love me. Oh, great. How many cars you sold today? None. That's not good.
Yep.
So the secret, and I said this to them, I said, listen, the secret is the process. Do the process. And I told him a story about Daniel. Daniel came to work. He was a technician at the Chrysler Group store, and he was doing very well, but he wanted to sell cars. And I said, well, Dan, here's what he wants to sell cars. I said, Dan, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to this manager, and I want you to listen to what he tells you, and I want you to do exactly what he tells you to do. Don't change anything. Whatever he tells you to do, that's what I want you to do. And so I said, and then in 6 months, I want you to call me, and I'll tell you what your next set of orders are. And so I told these young people this story. So my son calls me in 6 months. I was like, wow. Or maybe it was 60 days, whatever. It was the period of time. He calls me, Dad, he says, Daniel here. He says, you told me to call you in this time. I said, okay. I said, do me a favor. Go get a piece of paper and get yourself a pen, because I'm going to tell you exactly what I want you to do next. And he puts the phone down, goes, gets a pencil and a piece of paper, or pen, whatever. I said, okay, you ready? Yeah, write this down. I want you to do exactly what so-and-so tells you to do.
Yep.
Don't change anything.
Yep.
That's it. That's how strongly I feel about the process. And I told these two young people that story. I said, just do the process. Focus on the process. The process is designed
And that's exactly why
to take care of the client.
you mention expert counsel, because sometimes businesses are going to fail because they don't have a process in place quick enough to succeed.
You got to have a proven process, by the way, not just a process. And we do. And so we know it's going to work. Is it going to work today? Not necessarily. Does it work every single time? Of course it doesn't. There's a closing percentage.
Yep.
So if we do the process to the best of our ability, then we're going to sell a certain percentage of the customers that we talk to a car, and a certain percentage of people will not buy a car. It's the way it works. So if we apply the process the right way enough times, we're going to get our fair share. Make sense?
Yep. Makes perfect sense. Jim, thank you for just sharing your wisdom on just how to think about expansion, right? So many people are like, I talked to this gentleman maybe a month ago. He wanted to jump on a call, talk about marketing. And I said, what do you want to do? He's like, I want AI to do this for me. And I want AI to do this for me. And I have this business idea and this business idea. And I said, all those are great. How do you plan to actually do that? I don't know. I'll just get all this AI to do it all. And I have all these opportunities. I'll make all this money. And I got off that call sad because I'm like you, where I want to help people. And I'm like, I was bummed because you recognize people don't actually have a plan. They have a lot of good ideas, but no process to actually get it off the ground.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
And I think AI is, maybe I would say, simplicity. Let's keep it simple, smart, right?
Yep.
Simplicity. You can't pay somebody else to do your push-ups.
Yep.
You have to do your push-ups.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to use AI, I think it's a great idea. It's an adjunct
Yep, a
to
tool.
your
It's a
business.
tool.
It's a
Yeah.
tool. But to think that AI is going to run your business, wow. To me, intuitively, and I don't even understand AI, so maybe I shouldn't comment, but to me, that sounds like a terrible idea.
Right.
You got to run your business. It's like true supplements. Supplements are exactly what they sound like. They're designed to supplement a really good diet. But if you think you're going to eat crap food all day long and then take yourself some turmeric, it's not true.
Yeah.
You want to take the turmeric and the spinach salad and the olive oil and the blueberries and the wild caught salmon.
That is
and
good,
then
Jim.
have some turmeric.
Because so many people are like, I tried supplements that didn't work for me.
They're not going to work for you. They're supplements. So AI is a supplement in the sense of the true sense of that.
Yeah.
So
All right.
just Jim Shorkey giving his opinion.
That's good.